A really classy run. He's adding yet another medal to his brilliant talent.
It is another title for Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
Ingebrigtsen, majestic, magnificent.
Here's the first of the Ingebrigtsens, the older brother, Henrik Ingebrigtsen. Looked good in his heat. And here is the wonderful Jakob Ingebrigtsen, still just 19 years of age, and already with a host of titles to his credit. Jimmy Gressier, the European under-23 cross-country champion the last 2 years. The Ingebrigtsen brothers have it at the moment. O'Hare, of course, who's now in third, has a 1500-meter runner's finish. And then Lewandowski. And then Bedrani just behind him. Bartelsmeyer taking closer order as well. It's 2 laps to go. And it's the Ingebrigtsens with O'Hare, Lewandowski and Bedrani. Those 5 getting clear. The 2 Ingebrigtsens getting clear. Jakob leading Henrik. Or the other way around, I'm sorry. Yes, it's the 2 Ingebrigtsen brothers really going well. Jakob staying on the shoulder of his elder brother. Jakob with such talent, even Henrik has to acknowledge that. They go through the bell together. O'Hare in third place, Lewandowski in fourth, Bedrani then behind him. They're well clear of the rest of the field. The battle on, but the crowd are cheering because they can see Chris O'Hare making a really strong bid here. It's still Jakob, then Henrik, then Chris O'Hare. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, though, this brilliant 19-year-old stretching away from the field. A really classy run. He's adding yet another medal to his brilliant talent. How many more have they got to come? And O'Hare just takes it from Henrik Ingebrigtsen, who falls across the line. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, a winner here. Chris O'Hare will be a popular medalist for Scotland, and Henrik Ingebrigtsen makes it 2 brothers who will step onto the victory podium. But what a talent Jakob Ingebrigtsen is, and remember, he's got the 1500 to come.
Well, his brother Henrik Ingebrigtsen tried everything to break him. When it came from down to the race, there was no brotherly love there, but Jakob Ingebrigtsen just had everything to respond. It was a tactically perfect race from Jakob Ingebrigtsen.
But he has got that European under-20 record again, despite the slow start. Oh no, I'm misreading it. I thought it was 7:50.15 and it's 7:56.15.
But the accolade he does have is he's the youngest ever European indoor individual medalist.
No crowd, but the noise level still increases considerably for Marcin Lewandowski. This young man, though, practically unstoppable, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Well, got the battle between Ingebrigtsen and Lewandowski, who's on home turf here and trying to add his name to the history books, which he's already done so over so many years. And fantastic to think really that he's setting a new indoor best at the grand age of 33. Ingebrigtsen, 13 years his junior, trying to climb even higher than 5th on the all-time indoor list for 1500 metres. They hit the bell, 3:38 pace here. Ingebrigtsen trying to avenge defeat from 2 years ago. Lewandowski isn't finished just yet, and look at Gomez, perhaps while we're watching the front two to battle once again. We're forgetting about Gomez, who's still very much there on this last lap. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is seen off Lewandowski, and he's the champion, age 20. What a talent. Lewandowski beaten by 5 seconds in that recent race in France. Closer this time around, but in the end he's beaten by a tremendous young Norwegian champion. Both very much making history.
In the end, Ingebrigtsen just ran it and ran it and ran it from the front and left everybody else trailing in his wake. Another man who made US educated, Jimmy Gressier, well, reigning European under-23 champion at 5,000 metres, 10,000 and cross-country. And the man we're all looking out for, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, still only 20 years of age. So It's Ingebrigtsen, Michel, Hay, Katir, Kimeli and Gressier. They're the leading 6, and they're just starting to get slightly away from the rest. Oh, Rower's managed to tow the rest of the field back. So still 12 men. 3 laps to go. It is getting faster and faster. Ingebrigtsen is making this long surge from home, but he hasn't shaken anybody off just yet. Michel gritting his teeth. He's had success over 10,000 metres, Michel. And maybe that's where his ambitions lie these days, over the longer distances, the Spaniard. Katir now moving up. Katir, the Spaniard, with a rather ungainly running style, but it is effective. He is quick. Fastest man in Europe this year with that blue bib on his. So we're now 300 metres from home, and it really is starting to crank up. They're going to come into the home straight now for the penultimate time, and they're going to hear the bell very shortly. And it's Ingebrigtsen, Katir, Kimeli. That's the 1, 2, 3 at the moment with Michel, and then daylight back to the rest. Ingebrigtsen now starting to go through the gears with 200 metres to go. He's looking around. Katir working so hard to try and stay with him, but Ingebrigtsen now starting to pull away from the rest. Kimeli trying to get around Katir, finding his way blocked, and Ingebrigtsen's home and away. That long surge from 600 metres out. Kimeli gets himself through on the inside to take the silver, and Michel of Spain gets the bronze. Well, a 2:21, 2:22 for those purposes of argument. Last kilometre. Personal best for Ingebrigtsen, and he still doesn't look that much out of breath. 3 top-class races before this, and he's still got enough in the tank to take the gold medal and set a personal best over 15 laps of the track.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen has run the fastest in Europe this year, 3:32.38. His only race was a win in Leuven. Closed very well. This man's had a bronze medal twice at the European Indoor Championships. Jesus Gomez. Neil Gorley is having the season of his life. And when you're running, when the race is picked up here, they're running at a very, very good pace. Given that the first 100 metres was today, you've got to be very, very alert to if there's any gaps. That's what Neil Gorley is doing right now. If you're going to try and beat Jakob Ingebrigtsen, you can't give him 1.5 metres. That means you have to be right behind him. So Neil Gorley making the decision there as you move up to the kilometre mark. He wanted to go past Azadine Habs, and I don't think Habs would have let Neil Gorley do that if he could possibly avoid it, unless the Frenchman has just lost concentration ever so slightly.
As they come up to the bell, it's Jakob Ingebrigtsen, it's Norway, Britain and France, and they look like the men who are going to take the medals.
Jakob Ingebrigtsen, he's not quite kicked yet. He's going to wind it up. Neil Gorley has got a phenomenal change of pace. That's the first attempt for Neil Gorley. He hasn't managed to get past Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He's going to have to try again in the straight. Neil Gorley working hard. Has Jakob Ingebrigtsen saved something? Surely he has. Here goes Neil Gorley. He's launching a charge. He cannot reel in the Olympic champion. Jakob Ingebrigtsen had the title of favourite, but he was going to have a tough job here in Istanbul. A 26.87 final circuit. That's what's given Jakob Ingebrigtsen the win. It is a championship record.
Looking at the sharp end of the race, Ingebrigtsen having the luxury of being able to look around with about 30 metres to go, and his finger goes in the air with 5 metres go, and he reaffirms the fact that he's number one as far as European middle distance running is concerned. So now, the men's 3,000 metres final. I can't really think of anything new to say about Jakob Ingebrigtsen. 10 European senior titles to his name. Already won the 1,500 metres in a championship record. So it's
absolutely brutal from Jakob Ingebrigtsen. That was a 29-second 200 metres. He's just inching it down. Now we've got to keep an eye on James West. He's lost his number off the front of his vest. He's not appearing on the graphic. That will have the timing chip, but he is there in third place at the moment. Augusto trying to make a move. All of a sudden it's 3 laps to go. That's what happens in a 3,000. There's so many laps to go, and then all of a sudden you're into the last 600 metres.
Right, well, it's Ingebrigtsen still towing it away. Just 500 metres to go. Machal on his shoulder, struggling it seems, but that's often the racing style of Adel Machal. Bastian Augusto having a great race at the moment. Now Elvin Bibic deciding to get around the outside, tucking himself into third. 400 metres to go, but it's still Jakob Ingebrigtsen in front as he's been for the best part of the last 2 kilometres. Machal trying to go through the gears, but it doesn't look as though there's much there. Now the leading three have separated themselves from the rest of the field, and it's Ingebrigtsen, Machal, Elvin Bibic. Bibic having a great race there in third, looking very relaxed at the moment, in sharp contrast to Machal. But Ingebrigtsen at the front, he's absolutely majestic. Bibic now starting to drift just a little bit off the back. Now going through the gears, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, he just looks so calm and collected, so fluent in his running style. Machal starting to unravel after that brief attack from the bell, hobbling almost, looking around as Jakob Ingebrigtsen strides away for yet another double. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is not only the 1500 metres champion, but the 3000 metres champion. His time, unofficially, 7:40.33, his 11th senior European title. Who can stop Jakob Ingebrigtsen on the continental stage? And it's a national record indeed for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. He doesn't run many 3000 metres indoors, but when he does, he is almost unstoppable.
Isaac Nada was fourth at the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow last season. He will have just seen Afonso, his teammate, pick up a silver medal in the women's race. Neil Gorley doesn't come in with the fastest time this season, but he's looking for back-to-back medals at this championships. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, 21 times a European champion, double Olympic champion, double world champion, 5 world records, and he says he wants more. He says he wants all of them. But it doesn't seem to add any stress to Ingebrigtsen. He wears the pressure very, very well. And there he goes, straight to the back. And I'd say none of the rest of these athletes are natural front runners. Nada of Portugal is sitting on a really fast 800 metre time in the last couple of weeks, so he'll trust his kick. Azzedine Habs, he's been running in the low 330s many times in the last 18 months or so. The Frenchman at the lead at the moment. And I wonder if someone just takes this to the 333, 334 kind of territory, they might increase their chances of a medal. But is that enough to run the legs off Ingebrigtsen?
Well, I'm not sure it is. I mean, he's the fastest European in history by 2.5 seconds. He's a class apart. He's the most astonishing running machine is Ingebrigtsen when you think he's twice a world 5,000 champion. That 3,000 record last summer outdoors, 7:17, was out of this world. It really was almost intergalactic. And he looks very comfortable at the back there. Just what he did in qualifying, Hannah. He's taking it very, very steady indeed. And not really much happening up front. It's not quick. It's not slow. And Ingebrigtsen will just be thinking, is this best you guys have got?
And here he goes, Jakob Ingebrigtsen, as they hit the 600 metre mark. They're running around about 3:45 pace. He glides to the front. It causes chaos behind, as it so often does when Ingebrigtsen makes a move. It's a strong move. He's into the lead. Farken is down. He's disrupted Neil Gorley and Elsalmini, and perhaps for Hayden there as well. Ingebrigtsen is in the lead, and suddenly this field is spread out.
Gradually accelerating. It's very cleverly done from Ingebrigtsen. The others won't now get on terms with him unless they put in a massive effort, and then they'd have nothing left for the finish. Gurley's left himself with a lot of work to do. I'd like to see him closer to the front there as they went through with 2 laps to run. But Ingebrigtsen leading them a merry dance.
I think there has been an increase from Jakob Ingebrigtsen over this final circuit. We'll get the lap split there. It's a 27. Jakob Ingebrigtsen is in the lead. He's been there for a few laps. He does not have a gap. Azzedine Habs of France trying to hold on. Isaac Nada with all his 800 metre speed is pulling up alongside Habs. Habs has nowhere to go. Ingebrigtsen is right in front of him. Habs and Nada are going to have to wait for the home straight here if they're going to get on terms with Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen with 30 metres to go. He's done it. It is another title for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. 3:36 on the clock. It's not the fastest, but it was a masterpiece of tactical running, finishing there with a 26-1. His 22nd European gold medal. And the first half of the double title defence is complete.
doesn't put a foot wrong, does he? It's like he lives this charmed life. I got his last 400 at 53.4. His last lap, 26.2, there or thereabouts. Very comfortable indeed. He could probably do reps at that tempo, frankly. He looked that easy. When you think that he won the European cross country in Turkey, in Antalya, back in December, he then had a couple of months through to getting his first indoor race under his belt, the only one before these championships indoors. And he smashed the world mile record, the world 1,500 metre record. And here he comes, and he makes it look all too easy. Let's have a look at these men. Almgren, 29 years old now. The Swedish record holder at 1,500, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 and a half marathon. Talk about being multi-talented. George Mills, fastest European this winter. Indeed, one of the fastest men in history after that 7:27 recently in France. There is Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Can he add 3,000 gold to his 1,500 gold, I should say? He's still only 25. Nils Laros, sixth in the Olympic 1,500. He's only 19 years old. What a talent he is, and so confident. Nobody really wanting to be running wide on these bends now because the pace picking up, and Mills has hit the front. Mills down the back straight from Almgren and Ingebrigtsen, who's always been there or thereabouts in this race. He's a canny racer. He doesn't make many errors in racing. You have to run supremely to beat him. He was, remember, fourth in the Olympic final in Paris last summer over 1,500 metres, so he is aware of his vulnerability. A 28.2 lap there with just over 2 laps to run. Mills now still winding it up. Ingebrigtsen in second. When's he going to go? Here he goes now. Ingebrigtsen, 2.5 laps to run, and he hits the front, and Mills will slip into his slipstream. Almgren in third in that yellow vest of Sweden. West in fourth. Koskoren in fifth. Habs in sixth, the medalist in the 1,500. 2 laps to run, and it's Ingebrigtsen out in front, and it seems that there is no sign of Laros here. He's not having a good day, the young Dutchman.
Yes, it's interesting actually. George Mills kept looking up at the screen, looking behind him, was almost waiting for Ingebrigtsen to go. And Neil Gurley, the other Brit, in an interview after the 1,500 the other day, said they were all looking around for Ingebrigtsen, and now he's hit the front. And George Mills, quite rightly, is tucking in behind him, which is the best place to be with 1 lap to go.
They go through the bell then. Ingebrigtsen leading, on the way surely to a double gold. Or can Mills deny him that gold? A glance over the shoulder there from Mills is telling. He's worried about those behind him, not focused on getting past Ingebrigtsen, who kicks on again with 100 to run. Almgren under pressure from the 1,500 medalist Habs there in third and fourth, Koskoren in fifth, but Ingebrigtsen, majestic, magnificent, comes home to an easy win there. 1:49.9. I got his last 800 metres. Fabulous finishing speed. That's what you expect at the end of a slow, meandering, tactical 3,000. Well, Ingebrigtsen, I got his last 800, 1:49.98, and George Mills, he'll have been a click outside 1:50, I suspect. Brilliant for Mills. Look at him grimacing there in second place. Ingebrigtsen also relaxed, a glance around, the finger aloft, of course, just the one finger to signify number one. That's me, and he is again and again and again.
Hi, I'm Nadia Batogritti. Sign up now to the European Athletics YouTube channel.